welcome to My Tiny Bottles, the project where I'm exploring my grandmother's legacy of miniature liquor bottles, one tiny bottle at a time. I'm your host, Tammy Coxon. Bottle number 17 is a tiny bottle of B&B, which stands for Benedictine and Brandy. The first B, Benedictine, is a French herbal liqueur. And the story goes that in the early 1930s, a bartender at the 21 Club speakeasy in New York City started mixing with brandy. The combination became so popular that the company started bottling a pre-mixed version in 1937. There's not much else to say about B&B itself, and even though I suspect there might be a tiny bottle of actual Benedictine in the boxes, I'm going to tell you its story now, because it is a fun one. The recipe for Benedictine dates back to 1510, and the story goes that it was created by a Venetian monk called Dom Bernardo Vincelli at the Abbey of Fécamp in Normandy. The elixir was apparently highly renowned, until 1791, that is, when the Abbey of Fécamp was destroyed following the French Revolution and the monks were kicked out. But on their way out, they passed their library, including the secret recipe, along to one of their trustees, where it sat lost until 1863. In 1863, a local wine merchant named Alexandre Legrand discovered a collection of manuscripts from the lost abbey, including a liqueur recipe. He decoded the recipe, recreated the elixir, named it Benedictine after the monks, and began selling it to the public. It became wildly popular, first in France and then around the world. At least, that's how the story goes. But Wikipedia claims that a descendant of Alexandre Legrand admitted on a French documentary that Alexandre actually created the liqueur himself and told the story for marketing purposes, which honestly seems a lot more likely to me. However he got the recipe, he did produce it and make it into a worldwide sensation. He built the half-Renaissance, half-Gothic Palais de Benedictine in Normandy, which is both a distillery and a tourist attraction. The recipe for Benedictine is a closely guarded secret, known by only 3 people at any given time. So many people have tried to reproduce it that the company has a hall of counterfeits on the grounds of the Palais. Alexandre even trademarked the unique bottle and label shape to try to preserve his brand. That said, we do know a good bit about what's in it. There are 27 botanicals, and people think they know 21 of them, though of course not the proportions, that's the important part. Early Benedictine would have just been sipped on its own, until that clever barman at the 21 Club rolled out his creation in the 30s. My bottle isn't nearly that old, although when I saw it, I got really excited that it might have been older than most of the collection. It certainly looks old. The volume is labeled at 1/16 of a pint, which feels totally archaic. And based on the tax strip, this bottle could be from anywhere between 1940 and 1977. Now, if it were a full-size bottle, I could pin it down to 1961 to 1977, but for some reason, the tax strip didn't change for mini bottles in 1961 like it did for the rest of them. My bottle was imported by Julius Weil & Sons, a New York City wine and spirits importer. The company was sold to Nabisco in 1972, but Julius stuck around as CEO until 1978, so I don't think I can make any dating assumptions based on that. I'm going to guess early to mid-70s for this one. But you know, a 45-year-old bottle of B&B is still plenty exciting. Thanks for watching. Do you have a B&B story to share? Drop a comment below. Check out My Tiny Bottles for more about this bottle, including close-up pictures of it in all its tax stamp glory. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a bottle. Cheers!